Welcome back to Views from the Drunk. Still sweaty, same day, less hot, sun's going down. Today we'll be watching Two Distant Strangers. This was actually recommended to me by my parents. I think my father watched it, he told my mom to watch it, my mom calls me up and said, hey, have you seen? So today we'll be watching Two Distant Strangers. I don't think I've seen a trailer for it. I believe I know the gist of what it's about. Black kid trying to make it home, runs to a white cop. That's the thing. I think it's a short too. It's only 32 minutes long. So sit back. I'm gonna watch. I'm sorry. Just a splash. Sit back. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna drink. I'll be back. That's just the way it is. So this movie, short, was something that I was avoiding. You guys know typically what I like and what I don't like as far as movie tropes or things that people typically do. So when I heard about this movie, I was like, oh, this is gonna be one of those movies. Granted, that's not about the topic, that's about the movie. I'm a movie critic. Topic is what it is. Cops kill black people. That's a thing. I'm not denying that, nothing. Here I am, a black person. It's a thing. So relaying that into cinema is where I tune in towards like, oh, this is gonna be a public service announcement. Like, hey, we're tired of being killed. Love us. Our lives matter. Like that part is where I can then critique. I assumed this movie was going to be one of those, which is why I was kind of like standoffish about reviewing it. Now that I've watched it, the movie was mostly good. It had tidbits of public service announcement, but I wasn't offended by them. I wasn't like, man, turn this shit off. Like, it was like, okay, I get it. A public service announcement every now and then is fine. The movie is the movie, and then a sprinkle of versus, ayo, our whole idea is just public service announcement with an occasional movie. That's the difference. No, this movie was, it was the best that it could be. It was the most creative that it could be. Granted, it was picked from an already established thing, Groundhog's Day. If you're my age, you've seen Groundhog's Day, you know what it is, you know what it's about. So somebody seen that movie and said, yeah, but wouldn't it be interesting if it was a black guy? By the way, I'm still sweating. And they ran with that. And the answer is yes, absolutely. That was a good concept. I'm fine with that. No issues. Let me stop skipping my notes. I'm still sick, y'all. Y'all better like and subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications because I'm sick as shit and I'm still doing this shit. Y'all hear that? I can't breathe out of my left or right nostril. I'm not sure which one because I'm not good at directions. One of these nostrils ain't working. I just swallowed it. I swallowed it. All right, I'm here. Anyway, full disclosure, this is a B movie. This is not a star-studded Hollywood movie. I get it. So I'm not going to expect star-studded capabilities out of this movie. It's a B movie. It's a short. Let's put that out there. It's a short, got picked up, which is admirable. That's great. That's not nothing to frown at or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm aware of what I'm getting into. Cool. The intro was cheesy. Let's just say that. The writing was cheesy. The acting was what it could be with the writing that was. A guy and a girl wake up after a one-night stand and they kind of still like each other. He asks her a little couple of, so can I come over again? And it was nice. It was mostly nice. It was like, you know, if you've had a one-night stand, that's what it's kind of like type thing. And I'm fine with that. I was not in here hating the entire movie. I was not in here critiquing, breaking down, nah, that's not realistic. No, it was nice. For that first wake up morning scene, cool. You establish what happened, you establish where we are, you establish where we're heading. So he's leaving. He's got to take care of his dog. I thought the number on the door was a dope foreshadowing. I know y'all used to me talking about like cinematography and shit, but like writing is also important. And foreshadowing is like, it was a very subtle callback. It was like, because the first scene, it was just, we just going through the motions. He was like, you should get this fixed. And it didn't play a part in the situation until I think two scenes later, when they got the wrong address when they raided. And it was like, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. And that was dope. The movie, you could tell the budget was low. The only actor that I recognized was the police officer. And that's not to shame them, because honestly, most of the times when you got a low budget, you're working harder. You're working to create the illusion that much harder. So the writing had to be on point. Everything had to be on point to that little subtle nod to get this fixed. But it didn't like the camera didn't zoom in on the number to let you know that it's going to be important later. I hate when shit like that happens. It's just, hey, you'll just get this fixed. It was a passing by statement. No one was the wiser that that was going to be important. And then when it became important later, it was like, this is why black people get killed. Which is what the movie was trying to tell you, was like, yo, just random ass situations is why we get killed. Yeah, I thought that definitely was dope. He leaves for the first time. The situation plays out the way that it does. It was mostly realistic. I think that the song selection was dope. When the song started playing, I believe that a certain amount of people had an assumption that it was going to be a certain artist. Maybe not knowing that there was an original artist, or even if you knew, you thought, oh, this black movie's going to go for that artist. But they went for the original artist, and I thought that was dope. The first takedown, I think, was a good representation of how it actually happens. So a lot of times we as people see police operate either through TV, through YouTube, through some medium. That takedown was exactly because the cop was taking him down. Don't ask me about names. The cop was taking him down. Two more cops ran up. Typically when cops run up to a situation, they're always going to side on the side of, I don't know what's going on, I'm just jumping into the scene. And that's exactly what happened. They were just trying to stop the person from resisting. I don't know who was in the wrong. I Can't Breathe was a little bit on the nose, but it was one of those times where it was like, okay, I get it. Are there other lines that could have been said? Yes, but I'm also not mad that that line was said. I get it, I understand. My frustration that balances between being a critic and being a black man, there's a line that I have to jump back and forth between. So I get why it was said. Cinematically, it didn't make me jump out of my seat because it seemed public servicey. It's not like it didn't fit in the scene. It did fit in the scene. So that's why I'm easing off of attacking that line, because it fit. I Can't Breathe. Scene was good. Setup was good. Groundhog's Day, that is an establishing shot. This is where we're going from here. The only people happy to see cops are either white people or other cops. I thought that was a funny line. Black people don't typically call the cops. That's the thing. If you're white right now and you know some black people, call them, ask them. Hey, you guys call the cops? Not really. Unless we know that there's no way for us to be like culpable. There's no way for us to be mistakenly something for this situation. Nah, we don't call them. This is not what we do. The only people happy to see cops, white people and other cops. Hey partner, what up? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I laughed. It was a humorous line to put in there. Let's say that. I wrote, you see it, try to avoid it, but it comes. That is a 50 Cent line. There are so many hoops that black people jump through to avoid seeming suspicious to police officers. If you don't know this to be true, okay, but there are. You can see an issue, you can try to avoid it, but it still comes. And I feel like there is a percentage of black Americans who feel that way. And this movie displayed that, or like showed it and represented it. And I think that it definitely made sense. He ran right one time, then the next day he went left. Like, he tried every variation. He saw it, he tried to avoid it, but it still came. So much so to where he had to ask the girl in the morning, yo, what would you do? And she was like, I'll talk to him. He went up and talked to the dude. What can I do? Is my skin the only thing? Because I know the budget of the movie, I'm not going to beat up the thing that I'm about to say too much, but I am going to say it. So there was an editing error. You guys know me, I'm always looking for shit when it comes to editing. There was a scene where he woke up and he was like, fuck it, I can't go outside. And she wanted to recommend a restaurant, so he said, yo, let's just stay inside. So they're cooking breakfast, and I knock on the door. He's like, you expecting somebody? She says, no. So she walks up to the door, looks through the peephole, and she sees SWAT team. And one of the guys got the battering ram, pulls it back, and the shot cuts as he's coming forward. The next shot that we're seeing is from her point of view, the door opening. Unless this girl is the Flash, there's no way for her to go from the vantage point that we had in the peephole to the next scene, her being far enough away from the door for it to be rammed and swung open and she's not getting hit by the door. It's just a simple critique. I'm not gonna harp on it. I noticed it. It was what it was. I wrote it down, comment on it. I'm gonna leave it at that. This movie wasn't about, hey yo, last scene he had on blue shoes, this scene he got on red shoes. This movie was not about that. So I'm not trying to make it about that, but that was the most glaring thing in this movie that I noticed. Time and space, distance. So at a certain point where he was just fishing, trying to find a solution, he asked, what would you do if somebody was trying to kill you? And she said, I would try to kill them back. And I was surprised by that line in the movie. And I was intrigued to see if more was to come. It wasn't. There are a few different schools of thoughts when it comes to police brutality and how to deal with it. Her line of, I would try to kill them back, surprised me because it's not a popular thought that's in mainstream. It is a thought that is had, but it's not a popular one. And I was wondering if they were going to expound on it, use that ideology in one of the variations. They didn't. It wasn't to my surprise, but they didn't. But I am still impressed that it showed up. If y'all think that I'm tap dancing, I am. Write a comment. Give me something to respond to. But that was a good line. I wrote this down and then I wrote later the rebuttal, but I'm going to comment on the writing that I had. So I thought it was interesting that the cop didn't remember anything. So by the time that he walked up to the cop and it was explaining to him, he was doing all the magic tricks. Watch, he gonna trip, they gonna kiss, that's gonna fall. Like, the cop was like, it was his way of proving to the cop, like, yo, this is a loop. I thought it was interesting that he remembered everything and the cop remembered nothing. As if to say, hey, yo, bro, I'm on the losing end of this situation and I gotta live this day every single day. You have the luxury, and may I call it, the privilege to not know what I'm talking about. I thought that was dope. Turns out later in the movie, that wasn't necessarily true, but that scene was dope because it was like, yo, you don't know nothing about this? Because it was times when he ran left and the cop said, hey, you would think, I was thinking when I was watching, oh, he knows, they remember, so the cop saying, hey, to stop him. But no, the cop didn't remember anything. He was just randomly telling a running black man, hey, stop. That was a dope scene. Speaking of the cop, great actor. I recognize him from at least 2 movies. Don't ask me what his name is, but I definitely recognize him. And he does a great job at what was written out on the paper. Y'all know how I feel about villains. Y'all know how I feel about bad people doing good acting. I'm always going to give the gold star to them. So yeah, no, he definitely did a good job at being a bad cop. It was believable. It was because there was only 2 actors in the movie for the most part, except for the extras. And the main guy, I was following him, but the bad guy, I was listening to him. I was watching the nuances of the face, and he was giving, he was serving, definitely, most definitely. Why don't you just take me home? That was a good one. Most of this movie was good. Why don't you just take me home? Definitely had more weight to it when it was written down on page versus when it was released. Recently, don't ask me where, there was a black man whose car broke down, called the police, they picked him up, took him home. He was home at his brother's house or something like that, called the cops to get taken back to his car, walks out, gets shot down. Why don't you just take me home was a good sentiment before that happened, and then that happened, and it was like, actually, you know what? Don't even take me home. Nah, I'll walk. Don't worry about it. I'll scooter, I'll skate, I'll fly. I don't even know how to fly. I'll learn. Why don't you just take me home was a decent line for the movie, but the movie didn't know what was coming. That's the cycle that we're stuck in. You don't even know what you're not allowed to do. When he woke up, he said, fuck it, I just want to go outside. I'll just cook breakfast with this girl in the house, thinking that you don't even know that you're not even allowed to be in a house. Like, that's why this movie was dope. It was definitely dope because of that reason. It was exploring topics safely, but if you want to be mainstream, you gotta be safely, so why don't you just take me home? I wish a cop would take me home. There was a nice back and forth in the car. Actually, it was shot well too. It was a drone shot, but it was also back and forth transition between the drone shot and the car. And they were having good moments in the car. They were talking, he was asking the zodiac sign and just different stuff like that. So much so to where the cop got to the point where you said, you know what, if you're good with words, you have a way with words. Matter of fact, it's probably the first time that I've ever talked to one of you. Kind of goes to like, I've never thought of you as human. This is the first time I've actually talked to one of you, and you're making sense. That was a nice transition in the car, because the car ride started, he was making jokes about Kevin Hart, or he made something I can't ride in the front seat. That sucks. But then they get to the middle of the drive, and it's like back and forth, back and forth. How many kids you got? How many, But then later on in the drive, it was like real hard-hitting stuff. And I think that transition and showing growth through conversation was dope. Definitely. I mean, it didn't last long, because then he lets him out the car and says, hey, here I am. Thanks for the ride. Shake hands. Hope to never see you again. And then it's revealed that the cop actually does know that this is going on, and now he's spawn of Satan or the devil himself. I don't know. Is he the devil, or is he... Motherfucker clapped like he knew that he was in control of this shit. So the cop claps, and he's like, beautiful, this is the best you've ever done. So the cop does in fact remember what's been going on this entire time. Black guy's confused. Cop's like, hey, yo, man, wonderful job. You almost got me there. Wonderful job. They don't explain more beyond that. They don't explain, yeah, but you'll never be good enough to be my equal. Like, they don't go too far into it. The movie was trying to be dangerously safe. That's a good description. Dangerously safe. Maybe I'll put that on the thumbnail. Yeah, the movie was definitely trying to be dangerously safe. So it was like, it was pushing the envelope, but just enough to where like your parents couldn't tell that you opened your report card. It was revealing. It was like, all right, oh shit. Oh, he's in on it. All right. And then he shoots him down. Why didn't he zigzag? No, let me not say that. Never mind. Forget I said that. You're never short on courage, just time. That's like a poem line. If a killer cop was to write a poem, I feel like that would be in there. Like if he was like spitting bars, you're never short on courage, just on time. But that was a dope line because, yeah, if I end your life tonight, you're short on time, but you were brave while you were in the situation. Basically, see you tomorrow as the camera goes up and the body laying there and the blood leaking out. I'll say this, the movie or the short should have ended there. It was a nice bow, it was a nice twist. It was M. Night Shyamalan twist. We got the payoff. It was like, oh shit, it's never ending. Camera fades, goes up, should have went to black. But he woke up again. And I know why. I get it. Because you wanted to make it a positive twist, but I feel like the negative twist would have been better. No horror movie, whenever you when you kill the bad guy, take it home to the family, and then a camera goes down a block, and you see the dead body, and the eye opens up, and you realize, oh shit, there's gonna be a sequel. It's because the bad guy woke up. It's not a sequel because the good guy woke up. It's a sequel because the bad guy woke up. Fast forward, and you're thinking, oh shit, how much longer am I stuck in this movie? And he leaves, and he puts the headphones in, and it's like, I'm gonna find a way to make it home. It's like, yes, those are positive words. Yes, that's what we hope for. Yes, all those things, but that's not how the movie should have been. Because that leans more towards the public service announcement than it does the movie. If this is a public service announcement, then fine, do it that way. Whatever, can't critique those. But when it comes to a movie, nah, I didn't like it. When he got shot, see you tomorrow is what the cop said. Camera zooms up, it should have ended there. I wrote it down. I don't know how to line it up, but just know that I wrote it down and I wrote a line saying that's the end of the movie. It should be the end of the movie. I get the names at the end. I do. Saying their names. I get it. And if this is what that was for, then you have to have that. Could you have had that when I believe that it should have ended? Yes, you could have. See you tomorrow. Zoom up. Names come down. Same thing. As a whole, this is one of those hard movies to critique because you don't want to speak negatively against progressiveness. But movie-wise, I would say... I almost said something I didn't want to say. I am a man. I can speak for myself. Okay, I get this movie 7 shots out of 10. Most of the positive shots that I give it were for the positive reasons that were stated. It was a good message. It had good momentum. Even though it wasn't a movie theater release and it was a short, it still treated itself as if it was a cinematic release. The acting was C+ acting. There's nothing wrong with C+. C+ acting. And it still conveyed the message that it was conveying. Did most things right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with most things right. I didn't mind watching this movie, especially since it was so short. Actually, I would rather be part of the discussion with people about how they felt about the movie. Panel discussion type thing. Because I feel like that is part of the reason the movie exists. To see what people think. How do you feel about this? How do you perceive this? So yeah, no, decent movie. Would I watch it again? Yeah, no, I would. If I was at a dinner party, or if I was at some kind of gathering area where it's like, hey, come through and you got friends over, you seen that movie, I would watch this or suggest it like, yo, and then have a conversation after. I would definitely watch this movie as a think piece. I'm not mad at it.